Here we are, Big Dunners, GreelTalk. How you doing, bro?
Good, brother.
Hey.
In the
famous
kitchen.
In the one and only. This kitchen's very special for us. We've had a lot of moments in this kitchen.
From the ground up.
From the ground up. Every time we hit rock bottom on some part of our journey, we end up in this kitchen like, what the fuck? And then it all comes back to this kitchen.
I'll also point out, if you just hear strange noise, it's probably just my dog next to me here.
Yeah.
So, but you'll be a good girl, aren't you, Max?
Yeah, she's a good girl. Good old Max.
Be a different story if you had more shit, mate.
Yeah. So I thought we'd talk about the disconnect between youth and the community in Tassie in general, and I guess the disconnect between the youth and cops.
Yeah.
And police, as we both know, Dunners does a lot of support work with vulnerable youth that have been in the system or, are in vulnerable or dangerous positions and they need support.
Yep.
Different sort of stuff. You've done resi care.
Yeah, done all different stuff, man. I got into the industry, 2017 I got into the industry.
Yeah.
And it was just a case of, I've done roadworks, construction for 5 years before that. Fucking was way over that. My mum had a friend who was working in the support industry and kind of got me in. I had no experience, but just did a, fucking kick-ass interview. And I remember going into the interview in my high vis from work and I was like covered in dirt and shit.
Yeah.
And then when I got there was like 3 people like in suits and shit. And I was like, fuck man, I'm out there. And then I took like just before I went like, no.
Yeah.
Be yourself. And that's I think what I've done so well in the industry, bros. I'm like unapologetically myself, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
I don't think there's much difference in the person that my friends get to meet, as opposed to who my clients and the people I support get to meet. But yeah, I started off doing trauma-affected youth work, so it was just young people from, probably the youngest person I worked with was 2 to maybe 17, 18, but young people generally taken out home, whatever stuff was going on at home that, taken out home and put into residential care.
Yeah.
So I spent a few years just doing the trauma-affected youth work. Got into disability for a few years. A lot of it was still based around youth and people with trauma.
For sure. Yeah, as far as I remember, you've always had like young clients, maybe like
I've had like
adults.
Disability. I've had people as old as probably 60 and stuff, but I think a lot of that was just going to big companies that it takes them a certain amount of time for them to also realise, okay, what clients do you fit with and what people do you work best with. But I went. It was about 18 months ago now. I went out on my own. I'm now an independent mentor and support worker. So the clients I work with are all kind of young guys that get themselves into a bit of mischief. But they're all, it's different now that they choose me as their worker and I get to choose them as clients. Whereas in the past there was people I've been, working with, thrown in the deep end with that, I was just put in that situation. So it means I'm not dealing with behaviours, things like that as such, but there's a lot more in just their day-to-day lives of the generational trauma that they deal with, which is what they're really trying to make an effect with, and it's a slow fucking process, bro.
It's a hard one,
because you can't. For me, why I work so well in the industry is obviously I've got the in of being myself and the rapper, and they know me. So that's always a good one. But you don't want to come in hard and fast, like, don't do drugs, don't do crime, because then they're just going to go fuck off, dickhead. Like, you know what I mean? So it's really about planting those seeds with them and choosing the right moments to plant those seeds,
100%.
And also acknowledging that there's milestones and steps for some people that would seem so minuscule and small to others that you celebrate. The fact that one of my clients, maybe he's been off the pit for fucking 2 weeks. That's something to...
It's massive.
You know what I mean? So for someone, I've got clients that are homeless, that live on the streets, they're in shelters that are surrounded by methamphetamine all day, every day. They've got no job, they've got nothing else to do. Even something as little as a few weeks off the shit on the streets is a huge fucking achievement.
It's a massive milestone.
And it is, and it's about planting the seeds of the, you know.
Yeah, and trying to help them.
And, you know, this time they might have gone 3 weeks. Next time they might go a month, or, you know, and that's what it's really about, bro.
Yeah.
Mates, you're not gonna, if you...
It's not about you, doggo.
We can do one on you one day, that's alright, but you can't make the vlog about you, or you have to go in the bedroom and chill, okay? Because we're talking. Unless you've got anything important to add, just chill, alright? I love you.
Yeah, it's interesting, because like, even last night, man, I was down at my mum's house, and caught up with the family for my little brother's birthday, and I was out the back on the phone and I heard some rustles across the road, and there was a bunch of young fellas that had broken into Kingston Primary across the road because they're doing some renovations. And yeah, I saw them starting to smash shit, it was making noise, I'm getting defensive because it's my mum's house, I don't want mumsy waking up. And I went out there and I prowled down the street, and as soon as they saw me, they fucking Harry Bolter did the runner, and then I kind of walked around and followed them for a bit, and then they were like, just leave us alone. I was like, hey lads, come here. And they're like, no, they thought I was going to bash them. They thought I was like an angry civilian out to bash them. I was like, lads, don't be a bunch of pussies, come here, you know. And then they ended up, they ran around the back, and then they scaled the fence again. And then so I scaled the fence at my mum's. And I'm like, oi, Braz, it's Greeley. And he's turned around and he's like, oh, Greeley? I'm like, yeah, bro, what are you fucking doing? Oh, sorry, bro. I'm like, man, this is my mum's house. Like, and that young fella I met like probably about 2 months ago in the mall, and he was homeless, sleeping in the mall, you know, and I had a few yarns with him, and you know, I showed him a feed, and you know what I mean, and then I've seen him out a few times in the city at different times, and at night I've seen him running amok. Last time I saw him out in the town, he was definitely on the gear, his pupils were fucking huge. I've seen him and his mates running around the corner, I see a cop car coming, so you know, and this young fella, as far as I know, both his parents have struggled with mental health, you know, there's not a safe place for him to be. He was staying at his nan's, and then, you know, he's not fitting into her rules, so she's kicked him out, and now he's on the street running amok. And I've watched him go from just sleeping in the mall to running a bit more of a muck to then, like, breaking into the fucking, you know, primary school across the road from my mum's house. And don't get me wrong, I felt the temptation of being like, oh, you little cunt, give him a clip around the ear, you know, because it's like, that's the game that these kids are playing. And that's what
many people don't, there's that disconnect of people go, these fucking little eshays are fucking doing crime and all that, and it's not to fucking an excuse for their behaviour, but just like, if you actually look at their upbringing, it is generational trauma, criminality, just going, don't fucking do that, it doesn't fucking work, that's not how you get through it.
Yeah, and when I said to the fella last night, I was like, bro, I got your back, man. Don't be out here running amok, you know what I mean? And especially near my mum's house, but you know, everywhere is near someone's mum's house.
Yeah.
And that's the thing in Tassie that a lot of these kids don't understand when they're that young. And we've had other young fellas that are now adults, but a few years ago they were stealing from our mate's shop. You know what I mean? And our mates come to us and go, oi, your little friend has been stealing from my shop. And we have to say to them, bros, you know, he's our mate, and they don't realise how interconnected it is, the teenagers, you know, because, we're in a small town, like, our mates, well, you know, locally owned businesses are less and less these days, you know, it's becoming more corporate.
But it used to be like fucking notorious Tasmanian hip-hop legend Topsky, who back in the day was a terror for tagging venues. Topsky wasn't a bad, destructive kind of just used to get drunk and throw up a fucking tag. But even, you know, the amount of times that he tagged my old man's venue, and then my old man and my brother will work, and they'd just be like, oh, can you give Topsky a call and get him to come clean it up? Hey, Topsky, what's going on? Oh, true, brother, I'll come down.
Sorry.
Sweet, brother.
Exactly, yeah. It's a hard one, you know, and that's what, since I've been doing this vlog, and I'm just, you know, I've decided to capture the experience I have, you know, because the experience that I have and the experience that you have is the fact that most of these youth listen to us, or if not, their parents listen to us, and their parents you know, put us in some sort of light and show us to the kids, you know. And both of us have been through our ups and downs, our negative influences. We've been around, you know, people that have influenced us to get more caught up in that life.
Hell yeah.
You know, we've learnt our lessons in different ways, you know, and I guess there is benefits to living in a small community like we do, because you do get those reflections of like, fuck, we are all connected, you know. But yeah, you know, I'm copping all sorts of interesting things and different reflections from people. One, fucking people being triggered by the word generational trauma, because they're like, hey, I fucking had it rough and I'm doing all right, so what's their excuse, you know? And this one kind of expectation that everyone's brain works the same. You know, everyone, well, I learnt my lesson from this and that, and, you know, but that, yeah, once again, that's a systematic view. That's a one-size-fits-all view, you know, and
it's hard, like
it's like with the
there's so many levels to generational trauma.
Yeah.
People whose parents were abused. There's people that were fucking going out doing burgers when they were fucking 7, 8 years old to help their parents out.
Exactly, yeah.
People that I work with and shit.
Yeah.
And their parents were doing the same fucking thing. It goes back, they have never known any better.
100%.
And also the thing you're saying about the small town thing is like, the fucking negative of that for a lot of young people is, man, they are painted with their family's brush from fucking the jump, right?
Yeah, 100%.
I've got a client that's, I think, about to go back inside, or is basically back inside. He's been out for a couple of months and got up to a bit of mischief when he was out, but his lawyer actually pointed out to me that even though he'd only been out a couple of months, he's 18 years old, it's like, it's actually the longest he's been out of detention since a certain young age.
Yeah.
All he's fucking known, man.
Yeah, man.
You know, he hasn't had, you know, the people that are generally helping him are people that are hardened criminals that are giving him advice. You know?
Yeah, exactly.
Which, it doesn't excuse it. It doesn't excuse it, you know what I mean?
But it is, they are products of their environment, you know, and I noticed this when I was inside as well with, you know, like there was times where, you know, I'd be in there with the parents of the kids that you're working with.
Yeah.
And trying to help them understand, you know, how to break it. But that's it, when these kids are 14 and they're getting conditioned to being okay to sit in the prison cell.
Yeah.
You know, once again, when you don't have a stable environment, like when I was in prison, it was the first time I stayed in the same, you know, bed for like 6 months in a long time, because I grew up in an unstable, turbulent environment, and that became my norm. And
so
to a point where I really
to jail, you're getting bailed to a house that's an unstable environment. There's fucking drugs or violence, so it's straight back into it. And it's more unstable than prison, you know what I mean?
It is,
it's more and at least in there you got your fucking food, you got, you know,
washing's done.
you know where you stand in the pecking order, there's no bullshit with it, like, but yeah, it's not an easy fix. But as we were saying as well, like there's so many disconnects, man. The disconnect between, you know, young people, that side of the law, and the police as well, man. And it's like, for us, bro, like, fuck, you know, I grew up on NWA, bro. That was the first hip hop album I frothed on.
Fuck the
10
police.
years old. 10 years old. Fuck the police. People have heard my song Coppers back in the day.
Yeah.
Being a fucking, you know, young, angry dude that got into hip hop, it's like, it's the, you know, fuck the cops, man. The things we do in life where, you know, we're getting caught up in other shit, and then you just double down on it, man. But especially since the fucking job that I do, I have to fucking deal with cops all the time. All the time. Every single week I'm dealing with cops.
Yeah.
Whether it's my client's been arrested or I fucking, you know, this.
Going to the court with the client.
And it's like, yeah, I get that there is some fucking cops out there that are cunts, bro. There's some cunts that got bullied in high school and they're taking it out on the world, bro.
And they've got no social skills. Yeah.
But at the same time, there is fucking, like, you know, cunts will hate on me for this, bro, and I don't give a fuck. There's good cops out there, bro.
100%. You know, and any real criminal will say that there's a good copper out there, you know.
And there's a mate of mine, I won't say his name, but a mate of mine who I grew up with, you know, our parents were best friends growing up. We went to college together and shit, you know what I mean? Like, and we went our separate ways as teenagers, you know. He went and became a cop, I went and did my thing, but I'd still, like, even, 10 years ago when we were doing our fucking hectic thing and rolling around the town and shit, I'd still fucking bump into him. But, I'll be with my crew and cunts with face tats and shit. He'd be there, a bunch of other coppers on the beat. I'd be like, hey bro, what's going on? Hey bro, what's going on?
Yeah.
But I've since, bumped into him a few other times recently and had a chat, and he knows a lot of my clients. He's known them from when they were fucking kids, and it's like, but I've had, a lot of my clients will say he's actually he's a really good dude.
Yeah, that's it.
As long as you show him respect, he'll show you respect, and like.
And there are some, I was talking to a young fella the other day on the bus, and he was saying there is a good cop in Hobart, and I'm not sure if it's the same one. No, it's not the same one, it's a different one. Yeah. But he ran into this fella, and this fella had conditions to not be in town, and he was in town. So at that point, the cop got arrested him.
My mate helped you out, bro.
Yeah.
It was, I don't know if it was before you got locked up, right? But it was something to do with someone fucked up with and said that you breached bail, but you hadn't, bro. But he rang me, he's like, hey, bro, fucking, Grill's your mate. And I was, yeah, they're fucked. He's like, tell him to come have a chat and sort it out because they fucked it up, basically.
Yeah, that's
You know what I mean?
Yeah,
whereas any other cop could have just fucking let it go. And fucking next thing you breached and fucking locked up again, bro.
Yeah. And with this young fella, he said, the cop knew that the cop could have arrested him because he was breaking conditions by being in the city.
Yeah.
And the cop just went, look, bro, just fucking don't get me in trouble. You can sit in town for the day, whatever. And just aren't they're just giving that kid that chance. And that young fella said when that cop gave him that chance, it didn't just go, that he gained a little bit of trust. And he went, no, he's all right, you know what I mean?
But there's levels to it all,
And
the system is there is actual human beings in there trying to do their best and trying to do
100%.
I've done,
same with the kids
clients of mine that have got arrested, and I've had, for some pretty fucking serious shit, man.
Yeah.
It's not small things, but then, and I've had to go do interviews with them and dealt with some really fucking, understanding of people's background and disability and shit like that, I've been in fucking court lately with clients where the judge is fucking talking to me, straight up, asking my opinion on shit, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And I think that for me, someone who dropped that song Coppers,
Yeah.
I want to be through, right? To be sitting in a fucking court of law talking to a judge about my clients, about, what are my ideas on the conditions that they're giving them, and,
Bro, and as well, this is, because the system doesn't understand this youth culture, and this is the thing, you and I have known Cursor and Rate since back in the day, we knew, the Schema, Enter, Sky High, the people that founded this culture that has now influenced the rest of the country. These were the guys who got out there, but, once again, that kind of Adelaide culture.
When I battled Cursor, I didn't really know what a lad was, bro.
Yeah, we didn't have...
I had to hit up a few of my mates and they're like, what the fuck's a lad? And I kind of and I was like, what?
Yeah.
Never heard of him, mate.
Yeah, that's it.
Yeah.
And we still call them lads.
Yeah, exactly.
Where these kids say lad, but they call each other eshays now. We've got this handed down Tasmanian culture that has kind of developed of its own eshay thing now. But once again, I'd say, from what I can tell, 30% of the kids in the street that are following that fashion are the ones that are getting in trouble. There's heaps of good kids, in the city, that are just hanging after school, exactly like we did when we weren't getting in trouble.
But
the cops have
a short memory with that. There's always I know that probably with things like knife crime and stuff like that. That culture does promote that's not good, man. But there's always been.
There's been something.
I think of when there was all the fucking fake Wu-Tang year. So there was there's some bogan cunts would rock it, some not so bogan cunts.
Yeah, there's country bogans and Wu-Tang.
Back before that, you had fucking Fox jerseys, bro.
Yeah,
you know what I mean? There's always been. We used to get bashed at the bowl, bro. I remember fucking some cunts from 20 cunts from Chigwell just rocked up to the bowl in about
96,
bro.
Yeah.
And just started bashing cunts.
Yeah. Yeah, that's it.
Yeah.
It's that tribalism.
But it's different. It's obvious. It's a lot more dangerous these days because of fucking, a lot to do with weapons, bro.
And there's more fear.
Yeah.
That's the thing.
And I think back in our day, it was just a very normal thing to cop a flogging. I'd have copped a lot of floggings, whereas it's now kids that no, I don't want to cop a flogging, I'm going to fucking even the odds up a bit, which Look, I understand it, man, but it's like you just see the other side of it, bro, you know, with fucking actual...
Yeah, man.
The damage a fucking knife does, bro. Like,
yeah, it's hairy.
It's people have died from it. I know people that have been stabbed people, like, it's...
Yeah.
Fucking... It's not pretty, bro. You know
no.
What I mean?
Yeah. Oh, man, it's really... It's a hard one. Like, I've never carried a weapon, and therefore I've never been fearful of them. There's been situations where I could tell people had knives and, you know, like I've, you know, been around guns, I've been around everything, you know what I mean? But because I've never carried a weapon, I believe in the laws of attraction. Like if I carried a weapon, I guarantee you I would have ended up in a knife fight.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? With someone else that had a knife.
Yeah.
You know, it is the laws of attraction. If you're going to carry a weapon, you are more likely to bring that into your world. And it's the same with guns, man.
If you're doing run throughs on other cunts' houses, more than likely your house is going to get run through.
Exactly, bro. Yeah, what you put out to the universe, you get back. And I think a lot of these kids don't realise this. They're actually making their lives worse by doing this. And once again, you know, like the young fella that I saw last night when I was talking to him a month ago, these kids are on the street, we're around people, lots of people with really severe mental health, you know, issues. You know, the mental health in Tasmania is quite severe, and I even had a few mates hit me up since I've been doing this vlog and go, man, I live in Queensland now. It's tripping me out watching you walk around Glenorchy, and it's making me realise how damaged that place is. You know, and I've been talking a lot about generational trauma, and I think people think it's like playing the victim, using generational trauma as an excuse, and it's not an excuse.
No, it's not an excuse.
It's a reality.
It's understanding why it happens.
Exactly. And until we understand ourselves...
You can't fix what happened. You can't fix something if you don't understand what's happening.
Exactly, man.
Like,
that's how I'm doing my healing within my family right now. Me and my dad are still fixing our trauma. Fucking, you know, I'm 35 and he's 65. You know what I mean? Like, it's...
But it's... And I think it's just on a, like... It's this base level connection of human to human that does so much more than fucking legislation or fucking, you know what I mean? I feel like I've, you know, talking to a judge in court and giving my honest opinion from my background is, you know, there's way more going through that than fucking, and that's what it comes down to, man, like really talking to people, like. Yeah,
that's it.
I'm having, in the job I'm doing, having, you know, conversations with so many different people from so many different backgrounds, you know. But really trying to get that fucking level of understanding, even if you don't agree on things, bro. Like,
yeah, it's very interesting, bro. Because, yeah, as I was saying, like, I've been talking to a lot of kids everywhere I go because fucking, they're in the street. And, you know, all of them have been watching the vlogs now. And, you know, some of them tell me they're like, you know, we don't get into trouble, but because we wear Nike, the cops walk in and instantly think, so the cops... stereotyping the kids, and then as well, once that happens, the kids are stereotyping the cops, you know, and once again, all these adults that just expect kids to know, and where are the parents, or
fuck, maybe off on the fucking gear, man.
Exactly.
Like, the parents aren't there a lot of the time. That's not all the time, but like, but it's not as simple as and not even that, because I know kids that have fucking good parents that they've gone and done 100%. That shit, you know, like it's not.
My mum was a Christian, and you know, like, but once again, we're talking about the divorce rate, and the single parent home now is so common. And this is it. Every single parent home, that is trauma. Like, you know, my mum, single mum, 3 kids. She didn't have the capacity to really look after all of us. My dad wasn't around to really discipline me or show me that authority, you know, and so therefore I was out getting in trouble. Mum didn't have the capacity to have us home all the time, you know, so I was out putting smoke bombs in the post office, stealing this from the news agency, you know, and then by the time I was 14, I was with lads stealing cars, you know, and it just went doof, 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 doof. And then all of a sudden, within another 2 years, I'm surrounded by murder, and I'm surrounded by serious fucking horrendous crime, as bad as crime gets. People are stabbing each other in the throat, you know, and then it gets severely dark, and like, you know, it gets darker and darker the more that the normalisation of this happens. And it's the environment that enables it to keep going. But I refuse to not connect the gaps, and you know what I mean? Like, even I got a comment on one of the videos before, like, why the fuck are you filming kids? And you know, and I was like, it was confronting, because it's like, yeah, well, I understand the perspective, but we're at the point now where no one is actually learning from each other. And my intention with filming this and hearing out everyone's side of the story, and I'm, you know, happy to hear a cop's side of the story. I'm happy to talk with everyone. Last time I saw a copper and talked to them on a human level, outside of them being in a uniform, I saw a copper who went to school with my little sister. And she goes, oh, how you going? Last time I saw her was at my sister's wedding, you know what I mean? And she was a bridesmaid at my sister's wedding, you know, and they're just high school friends. My sister doesn't, you know, care about what job she works, they're high school friends, you know, same with you and your mate. And she's, you know, she said, oh, it's so hard because people think this, and it's like, yeah, I can understand where you're coming from, but at the same time, you guys are given, so many cops I don't think are given the actual emotional response training that they need. A lot of them, like when those kids in the mall were getting arrested and I tried to talk to the cops, and mind you, I was filming and, you know, that pissed them off probably as well, but all of a sudden she was heightened, and they're not taught how to...
But even and look, it's like, fuck, even when you are trained, man, like...
Yeah.
I've gone through, you know, not to the same, but training through my work and shit like that, but there's still certain situations when you're in the deep end, you're just like, what the what? You know what I mean?
Yeah,
of course shit's going to escalate. You know, I've been in situations where I've escalated situations because I've been like, what the fuck?
Yeah.
How do I fucking control this right now? Fuck, this is escalating, you know? Like, definitely.
I've seen it in jail with inmates and screws.
Right, Max just dropped their guts.
The dog dropped the guts. You know, you're making this vlog about you.
Yeah, I know you're there, mate.
Yeah, cheers. But yeah, it's a fucking hard one, man. It's a hard one, you know, and...
I just think so much of it, like dialogue, just on a human-to-human level is so important, man, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
So important.
It really is, and you know, yeah, even with the young fella last night, I've been thinking about what to say when I see him next. Because I know I'm going to see him. And like I thought, what should I do? Should I take his shoes? But you know what I mean? Should I just roll up on him and take his shoes in front of all his mates? And go, oh, you want to play this game, brother? You know what I mean? Like, it's an interesting one. Like, you know, I did chat with him.
Yeah, and so much is to do. Like, bro, I've never been someone who fucking flogs shit, bro.
Yeah.
I've never really been a shoplifter, man. And it's to do at a fucking young age, bro, like 5 or 6.
Yeah.
Like stole a piece of fruit or something from the, you know, something small from the local shop. My dad kind of like fucking tore shreds off me, marched me up there. Fucking, you know what I mean?
Yeah,
literally. And from that moment, man, I was like, even though I was like, fuck, man, if my dad gets wind of this, heaps of other dodgy shit I do, but I was like, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
So, yeah, that's just,
Yeah. It's an interesting one. They are the same thing, you know, like when I get caught doing things, march back down, you know, handed it back, and yeah, it's an interesting one. It's an interesting one when you don't feel like people care about you. Because I feel when you feel like people don't care about you, that's when you don't care. You know?
And also so much of it is like, I was saying this, you know, I've got clients that fucking steal cars and like pathologically steal cars, bro.
Yeah.
Like they can't help it almost, but it's like, these are kids that are just grown up in this absolutely fucked up environment.
Yeah.
Nothing really good happens to them. I don't know, 10 years old, they steal their first car. The fucking rush that they get from that, man, is what you say, or stealing shit, or fucking fighting, or drugs, whatever, but that's that rush that they, it's like, this is fucking,
It's like the birthday they've ever had. When you think about like a 10-year-old kid, your biggest days of the year is your birthday and Christmas, you know what I mean? And I think what needs to happen is, with a lot of these kids, they need help figuring out what their dreams are, and then they need to need help achieving their dreams, so they get a rush of endorphins from something that's positive.
Yeah, because there's no
That's
easy fix except to replace it with wholesome good things.
Exactly.
You know what I mean? Like,
well,
people spend their whole life, replacing it with drugs or porn or fucking whatever. Like it's.
Well, my two most exciting days in jail was the riot and when I did the gig.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? One's negative, one's positive. But at that point, I was so bored in jail that a riot was actually like, oh, this is fun.
Yeah.
This is positive, even though I know it wasn't. But the thing is, they had nothing else in there that to help you take step forwards of helping you reward in a positive way. So therefore, after 6 months of lockdowns, no staff, no courses, no programs, nothing, there's no staff to actually help anyone rehabilitate by doing positive. And this is where the system lacks rehabilitation. You need to start rewiring people's brains in a positive way. This is the difference between...
And also that people have to be disciplined to something in some form, man. You know what I mean? You really need to find... Which is a hard one, bro, because in this day and age, as a young person, how can you see the worth in being disciplined, bro? Like,
well, boxing seems to be the only...
But you know what I mean? But there's boxing, but like you see rappers out there that just doing it. Like there's no...
Yeah.
But I think, man, you've learned so much over the last few years, how important, like, and it's a work in progress, bro. I'm not always disciplined, but how important for your fucking soul discipline is, whether it's working out, fucking waking up in the morning on time, like I'm gonna do you, not smoking, staying off the shit, bro, discipline is a powerful fucking thing, man.
It's a very,
And when you don't understand it, it seems boring as fucking really difficult, and it is to an extent, but then once you get past that and get the feeling of it, it's like, fuck yeah.
Yeah, it's rewarding.
What are you fucking chewing on, bro?
She's making the vlog all about
She's got a sheepy build and a lobster. Oh, you fucking... She's been hanging out with the mush, and now she's chewing rocks, bro. Get it out of mouth. They don't swallow them, but my mum's dog's, if Mush was a human, she'd need a support worker.
Yeah, that's for sure.
Pretty much. Mush, my mum's dog, chews rocks, and I've been house sitting for a week down at mum's house. Now you've come home, you decided you're fucking chewing rocks.
She just wants attention. And that's it, these kids want attention. That's the other thing, a lot of these kids can't get attention.
Yeah.
So they'll go fucking do something that gets people chasing after them. This is why kids are putting crime on Instagram.
Yeah.
Because they're not getting positive attention. And they don't even care about the crime that they're doing. They're not trying to actually do crime. If they're doing a crime and they're putting it on Instagram and they're tagging their mates in it, so their mates are getting busted, they're actually snitching on their mates. I hope you kids realise this. When you put your crime on Instagram, you're snitching on your mates. But this is the thing, they're not actually trying to do crime and get away with it when they're doing this. That's attention. That is attention seeking at its finest.
Yeah.
And I've seen this across the country. Like Darwin has the highest rate of car theft, which is also a cultural thing because a lot of these kids that come out from country and communities that come from a different culture where it isn't mine and yours, it's a free economy, for all different reasons, they're getting pushed out of their communities into suburbia, into a community that's based off capitalism and no, this is mine, this is yours, but it's still their country, and so they're going to take the cars off it. They don't give a fuck. They might be only 1 or 2 generations away from a culture that hasn't got mine or yours. That is a massive, part of what the colonised culture is in Australia. And I see so many people flipping out over, that's mine, you know what I mean? And once again, the more that we cut up the land with the fences, and we're like, no, this is mine, this is yours, you get this and you get that, the community becomes more separated, becomes more individual. And people say to me all the time, you should be your youth worker. And I've done youth work, but for me it's like, why should I be a worker? Why can't I just be a good cunt in my community? I'm good to the youth in the street and I'm good to the elderly. I was talking to Rates the other day, and how's this? Ratesy was in his community and he saw a bunch of young lads trying to stand over an old man.
Yeah, right.
And so Rates went up to him like, hey fellas, fucking, that's not alright. And this young lad walked up to Rates, ABK 225, and went, fucking, you gotta do something about it, brah. And got right up in his face. And Rates didn't know what to do. And so he had to shove this young fella and the kid goes, oh, what are you gonna do something? And Rates just looked at him and said, I don't want you to go what through I went through. And the kid walked off, mouthing off. And he probably didn't even know that was Rates, Kirsten's older brother.
Yeah.
And Rates has helped founded the culture that these kids are replicating. You know what I mean? But the kids are so lost now from the roots, they don't even know where it come from. These Ashays don't know where it started.
No.
They don't know that it leads back all the way to Thurston Howe with Low Life Crew and all that sort of shit, This is American culture, once again, that mixed with Australian culture, and Australian culture took a bit of the chav English culture, stirred it all up, watered its garden in Sydney. And it was, the Adelaide culture was in Melbourne, all these different kind of evolutions of it. Urchers, Spanian breaks it down quite well. Spanian is definitely, and now this is why Spanian is the biggest influence in the country, because these kids across the whole country are following this trend, It's, but once again, that's just a label for what is actually kids that don't care about the system because the system doesn't care about them. They don't feel like the government, the council, the system, they don't feel there's any rehabilitation in it. That's because the system employs a lot of people that, once again, don't have the empathy. And there are a lot of people that are support workers that lack empathy.
Great, there's some some great support.
Yeah, bro. Well, like yourself.
There's some people in this industry, I'm like, how the fuck did you get work in this industry?
Yeah.
This is an industry of support work. It's human to human. Can't be disconnected from that with no empathy, man. And I've worked, with people that, take, I have a client that for whatever reason has severe fucking behaviours. They're gonna have it with everyone, bro.
Yeah.
People that take clients' behaviours personally.
See
that fucking.
They start beefing with their client.
Yeah.
And some cops.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? It's like, you have to understand, you're wearing that uniform, that is your job, and that is what you're getting paid to do. You have to remove your personal emotions from this situation.
Even as something as
these kids aren't getting paid.
A girl that I worked with, I've told you about it, bro, but a little while ago now, she'd been on the meth for a while. She was addicted to the meth, and just showed the disconnect of what the policy was at the time. This was before I started working with her, but so if she came home and exhibited any signs of withdrawal, shaking, scatting out, whatever, they'd call a fucking ambulance, bro. So they call an ambulance, she'd be back over the back fence, off getting on again.
You know
what I mean? They just didn't get it, bro.
Yeah. I think I remember that one. Is that the one you helped to get off the meth?
Yeah,
Icy Poles.
Huh?
Was it Icy Poles?
Oh, there was lots of shit we did, but I spent a couple of days with her and fucking did the hard yards with her, man.
Yeah, you sat, and you, instead of calling the ambulance, you got a box of Icy Poles.
Oh yeah, we fucking stocked up on heaps of shit.
And you sat there with it through the withdrawals, and you got her clean.
And I actually got her to write a lot. I was helping her, she was writing a lot of raps to get through it, but
art therapy.
Shout out, Missy. She's she's killing it, bro.
Exactly, bro.
It really makes me tear up fucking thinking about how well she's doing at the moment.
Man, because I guarantee you, instead of once again treating her off protocol, you know what I mean? Oh, this is stupid to do. Are you twitching? Or you must be withdrawing. You went, hey darling, it's all right. You're going to get through this. I'm going to sit here with you. We'll have some Icy Poles to help with your withdrawals, and we'll do some art therapy to help understand what you're trying to face.
It wasn't an instant fucking.
It never is.
I mean, she had her times where she fucking relapsed and stuff over the years. But yeah, man, I still say it just fucking warms my heart to see how, from where she came to where she is now, man.
God bless, man. And this is the thing, is kids need empathy. They need to be treated as humans, not just numbers in the system, and even, I see the way that people write on the internet, fucking kids these days, and whatever label they want to call them, they're humans. Adults, a lot of adults are just big kids that are just trying to lie to themselves about their maturity. I think, yourself, man, that some of the kids you work with, in many ways, are more mature than the support workers that it's very interesting. people just think a bit of age and but experience is everything, you know. Some of these kids have been through more life experience than some adults have been through in their entire life. They've been,
fucking oath, man.
You know, and
it's fucking young kids that I work with that have been through way more shit than I'll ever go through in my
exactly.
life. Like, young children, bro. Like, yeah, man.
Yeah, and that's what people need to understand, and they don't.
But and I think that's what it's about, man. It's just really trying to see the fucking human behind it all, man. Like, because you will find it, bro. As I said in that new song, that, you know, I said there's learned behaviour in broken humans, not incessant evil. Like, it's
that's it.
Behind every fucked up person, you will find the fucking good in them, man.
Yeah.
It might be buried down deep and you might not really see it, but it's there somewhere, you know.
100%.
And it's fucking learnt behaviour and whatever else that has shifted them into this fucking person. And they're not self-aware enough to see that other people don't, you know.
Yeah.
Like, fuck you cunts, man. Like,
yeah. You don't understand. Fuck you.
Fuck.
You don't know what I've been through.
Yeah.
Yeah, you know, yeah. I met one of the most dangerous men on this island when I was in prison, and I knew all about him. And when I saw him and I looked in his eyes, all I saw was pain.
Yeah.
And once again, it doesn't excuse the actions that he's done. His actions are unforgivable.
Hard out, yeah, exactly.
But that's where it comes from.
It all comes from a place.
Yeah, it comes from a place of pain.
You know, there's always pain there.
Yeah.
Like,
and some people are lucky enough to have the wits to make that conscious decision. And this is the thing, when you go through significant trauma, whatever it may be, yeah, some people, their brains has the foundation enough or self-awareness enough to make that conscious decision never to do it again. Some people don't. Some people can't help it. Sometimes the trauma is so deeply hardwired into their brain because the trauma happened at an important stage of formation as they were growing, that subconsciously, like, I've sat there with fellas in prison that are in there for domestic abuse and hitting their partners, and the last thing they ever wanted to fucking do was hit their partners. But the fact is, when they were 3 years old, they were watching their dad get angry, hitting their mum.
Yeah.
And that burnt into their brain. So when they're an adult and they're in a situation where the energy gets heightened, their learnt behaviour that's burnt in their brain is, oh, I can't handle this, boom. And then they do the same thing. They go, fuck, I've become what I hated the most. And then that becomes a burden deep within themselves. And then they hate themselves. And then they do it again. And then that's where the snowball happens. You know, and if they don't get proper therapy, proper cognitive behavioural therapy, all these different techniques that are made to actually go back down through your brain to the early stages of formation to try and work through it, to help unwind the tension and help them find new learnt behaviours to respond to the situation instead of reacting, they've got no chance, you know. And I've had grown men in prison crying to me because they feel so guilty for their actions. But when and I sat there and I helped them process where it's coming from. And every time it was they saw it at a very early stage of their life where it was normalised around them, that was in their environment until it became a learnt behaviour.
Yeah.
You know, it's a really fucking hard one. And yeah, I feel that this is what we need to do. We need to have dialogue like you and I are sharing right now. There needs to be more access to this type of dialogue. There needs to be...
And there is, you know, from the work, there's so many fucking good people out there who are making a difference, bro.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And you find it, bro. You find it. There's some real motherfuckers out there that are doing really good things.
Yeah.
And it's like, for me, man, that I think like the future of what support work does and the people get into it's like, I think there's such a positive effect to be made, you know what I mean? I'm very hopeful that there, you know, it's always going to be certain things going on, but I think that, you know, that where certain people are setting other people up, you know, fucking planting the seeds, that it's this knock-on effect that happens, bro.
Yeah, well that's what we're doing.
You know, the seeds that you've planted with me or I've planted with you that we've later gone on to fucking, you know.
Yeah, 100%.
Go in on that idea and then give it to other people and things like that, bro.
Yeah.
And it's that whole, you know, it's that kind of full circle, pay it forward thing. Like, fucking, we're 2024, man. Think of what, like us, 12 years ago or so, like 2012, bro. Like, living very negative lives, doing lots of very, not real much positive shit, bro.
No.
You know? Apart from releasing art as music, but even
it was for ego.
The art we're releasing was for ego and very negative, bro. But it's, you know, for us to come from that and go, nah, fuck that, and now be helping people to fucking plant seeds and then, you know, fucking hopefully one day do the same, man. Like, that's where I see where it comes from, is this fucking human interaction, bro. You know? And having human interaction between a couple of people is so much better than having some forum where then you've got fucking sides and fucking, no, fucking no. But when you're two people here, like, you've kind of got to find the common ground in a way, you know?
You do, man. And once again, left versus right, essays versus cops. The more that we, like, stereotype, the more that we put it into this kind of, like, tribalism. The forum. You know, once again, Labor versus Liberal. Like, it's you know, this, we're all fucking human.
Our fucking country loves to back a team, don't they?
They do,
Any referendum, like, come on! Cut the fucking...
it's
fuck, bro.
It's hectic. Yeah, that's it. Identity politics in this country. Everything. It's these labels that people still put people under and then they don't understand.
And
you know,
just go, okay, this is my opinion on it. This is my side, there's that side, and you're just like, fuck, there's so much grey area in the middle that you are just dismissing.
Yeah.
Like, so much grey
area. Man, like, there's so many white fellas that hate on me because I back black fellas and I don't like Australia Day, and they're like, and then I say, talking about getting out of a victim mentality, and they're like, oh, what about the people you're standing up from? You know, and I'm like, you don't even understand what a victim of colonisation is because you live in your bubble. Like, you know, people think colonisation's finished when it isn't. You go to certain places in this country and there's still severe victims of the system in this country. And then once people go, well, you can choose to be the victim and the victor, which is definitely lucky enough for some people, they have the conscious decision or they go through a moment where they actually get that clarity and they think, wow, I can actually change my mindset. And you're very lucky to get that. There are some people that never get that in their life. I was talking to another young fellow who's doing amazing self-work right now, and he's changed his victim mentality and he's thriving, but his mum can't. And every time that he takes 2 steps forward and he goes back and tries to talk to his mum shuts him down and goes, no, everything's fucked, this and that. And he's there like, Mum, I'm trying my best to break that thing. But, you know, he's actually having to learn how to respond to his own mum and step away and not enable her to continue to project her victim mentality onto him because he fucking loves his mum and he wants her to find peace within it too. But when people are really stuck in that, and especially the older generation, like we're lucky in our 30s to have this kind of awakening of self-awareness where some older generations, this language didn't exist for them, this dialogue wasn't around, and now that they might be in their 60s, it's too far gone, unfortunately. They, you know, their trauma and their learnt behaviours are told, no, this is how it was, especially back when they were young, is so deeply ingrained into their psyche that there's no other way to see it. You know, and the beauty is that, people misinterpret passion, I think. People get desensitized because they get used to cutting off their empathy. You know, so many people live in those bubbles because it's hard. And it's hard to live outside the bubble, you know. I know of so many deaths just this year. We're only 1 month into the year. Murder, suicide, cancer, you know, like, and that's happened in the people around me just this year, you know. Life is very tragic. And if we don't actually find the tools or the coping mechanisms to process this sort of stuff, all of a sudden we're like, we can't give a fuck about these kids. You know, someone I know got murdered last week. and then the kids might be wearing the same clothes as the person that murdered the loved one. So all of a sudden the kids get bunched in with the murderer. And then once again, if you tell these, if someone goes, you're a monster, you'll become a monster. Manifestation is so powerful in the language, you know, like it's, if you even just fear, if you embed into people that you need to be scared of this, so you don't, like the thing is, I know, like there is no young Eshe in Tasmania that's ever going to fucking staunch me because I'll never look at them with fear. And it was the same when I was in Dunn D. When I was in that detention centre, which once again I saw some pretty horrific stuff, but I never looked at any of those kids with fear in my eyes.
Yeah.
And because I didn't look at them with fear, they didn't respond to me with that, oh, you scared of me? Well, I'll be dangerous then. You know? Kids everyone just wants acknowledgement. You know, acknowledgement, wants to be heard. Some people don't even know they want that. Some people have given up on that.
I think, yeah, it is, man. Being acknowledged, being heard, being appreciated, getting that attention, bro. And you know, like, you humans crave attention, bro. Like,
they do, man.
And even for someone like me or you that have, you know, got friends, family, fucking fans, like, but so many things to give, we still look for it as well, bro.
100%. I looked for attention in fame because I wasn't getting it from the core unit that I needed, you know. And the more that I've learned how to articulate with the people that I need the attention from, and the more I get that attention from the people that I need it from, the less attention that I need through anyone else, you know, for the right way. It's interesting. The more that I kind of get centered in myself, the more one half of my life are going, wow, you're doing really well. And they can see that I'm actually better than ever. But then the other half, I think, are triggered because they've buried their shit so much. And they go, hey, why are you talking about this? You sure you're all right? Are you sure you're all right? And I'm like, I'm actually really good. No, you're not. Which is a crazy reflection to get. And you know yourself, you've known me, I said in one of my vlogs, I was like, ask Dunners.
Oh yeah. Bro.
You know, I'm actually better than ever. But it's so weird, I'm getting lots of people confused and then trying to tell me that I'm not well or whatever, because I refuse to once again think inside these boxes that they're still trying to put me in, because their mind only works in these compartments of, well, that only makes sense if I have these labels.
Yeah, it is so, you know, projection, bro, for the most part, man. Like, fucking, when someone gets off the fucking drugs, bro.
Yeah.
And all their mates go, what are you doing, you fuckhead? You be 2 days off that shit.
Yeah.
Because they want you to come back to them so they don't have to address that I'm still fucked on drugs and I haven't got off it.
Exactly. Or even when I lost the weight and everyone was hitting me up like, you want the crack? So I fucking hate meth. If you listen to my music, you know, like, fucking, didn't you have someone come out and thought, pull your head in, mate, it was about me?
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like,
that song about grills, is it?
oh my
what,
God.
3 grills? Nah, pull your head in, mate. Nah, bro.
No.
Yeah.
I hate meth with such a passion. You know,
right.
I hate it with such a passion.
I'm just gonna casually hang out with you if you found a fucking beer.
Like, I've lost so many friends to meth.
Man.
And this is why I'm passionate, because my heart's been broken. I've been in love with girls that were addicted to meth and put the substance before me, and that broke my heart. You know, I've watched beautiful souls lose everything, you know, hurt their loved ones, do some unspeakable things because they lost themselves.
There was a cunts we came up with that were as good or if not better than Rapping It Us, man, that fucking fell the fuck off because they got in the pit, bro.
Yeah,
bro. Never heard of them, bro.
Yeah.
Never heard of them outside of a small fucking niche circle.
100%.
They got on that shit.
Yeah.
And like, yeah.
It's hard, and it's everywhere.
It is, it's fucked, man.
It is so, you know, it's so, and like, you know, if you're watching this and you struggle with meth abuse, just know that we're not bagging you out. We're not trying to judge you. we understand. And this is why we're having this conversation right now, is because we're sick of watching people get judged. And, you know, don't get me wrong, I've got so much trauma from meth. If I see someone that I love getting on it, I have to walk away. And that's the hardest bit. That's the hardest bit, is that I can't be around it because I have an addictive personality. And if I enable them to start using it, then it's only a short amount of time before I enable myself to walk out back down that path, you know. And it's a hard one because, you know.
Yeah, it's never judgment, man. It's coming from a place of us fucking being there and seeing it and fucking experiencing it, bro. Like, it's destroyed a lot of good people around us. Like, and it's and meth's not always something that you see in the first year, sometimes we know cunts that held it down for fucking 10 years as fucking functioning addicts, bro. But they all at some stage lose it all if they stay on that shit, bro.
Exactly.
Like, and that's why, like, it's not judgment. It's like, nah, fucking, I love the human in you that please don't do this because I've seen these other cunts do it, man. Like,
because you lose the human in you.
You do, bro. You do. Like, you know, cunts that were fucking the G's, bro, that are broken fucking humans now, man. They can't even leave the house and shit.
Like, that's it. So damaged.
Yeah, man.
Some of the staunchest cunts with the strongest morals. You know, if old them saw them on meth,
bro.
You know what I mean? They would have sorted them right out. People become the opposite of everything they stood for. It's a hard one to watch. Yeah, it's so hard to watch.
Yeah, it's not easy. It's like I haven't been in the throes of meth addiction. So I don't know, like, but
I was lucky enough that I really dabbled in it before it hit Tassie.
Yeah, well, the same as me, man. We dabbled for years before I came down here.
Yeah,
but it's like, I guess we were seeing the damage happen before it got down here.
Man. I learned about it in Perth, man, because Perth, and because you haven't been over to Perth.
No, it's not been Perth.
Yeah, but Perth, when I first went over there, they had a very normalised meth culture.
Yeah.
You know, and compared to, you know, no doubt Sydney did and a lot of New South Wales.
Brizzy did to an extent.
Brizzy, Melbourne.
Pretty fucking acceptable.
But Perth, I think it was because it's close to Bali and close to, you know, a lot of it was coming in through internationally, through those, you know, ways. And you know, I remember being in Perth and hearing about a granddad smoking meth with his grandson. And that was early in the stage, and I was like, holy shit. And now we're at a point in Tassie 10 years down the track where that's happening in places in Tassie. You know, there are pockets in Tassie where there's 3 generations of meth addiction being passed down, and this is where substance abuse becomes a love language within the family.
Oh fucking oath it does.
You know, and someone hit me up about, like, how is substance abuse a love language?
Hard out it is, man. I've got, you know, from when my years of abuse, I've got friends that I might fucking get fucked up with friends, you know what I mean?
Bro, you grew up in a pub.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, this, when we connect, we're getting fucked up. That's what, you know, like, you know, not you, but like, there's certain friends of mine that are more like, you know, that I've had over the years. You know
100%,
I mean?
especially growing up.
Drug abuse is a full love language, man.
Alcohol.
Yeah, like,
you know, alcohol is a drug, and you grew up in a pub.
Yeah,
you know what I mean? And you know yourself, man. Like, alcohol is the most normalised Australian substance abuse love language, because you have to drink on Christmas. If you don't drink, well, you're not drinking on Christmas. Don't you love me?
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, that's it. That's fully is like what it is. Gambling's the same. Oh, what, you having a bet? Oh, you're not going to have a bet. Oh. Do you think you're better than me? Whatever. Like, God bless. Like, it's a hard one. You know, and this, I guess, Thank you so much for having this conversation with me on this vlog, bro.
It's so easy, bro.
You know, because I'm so grateful to have you as a friend, and, you know, especially while I'm just trying to overcome certain aspects of my addiction with, you know, cigarettes and weed. And once again, cigarettes is the most normalised, shittest drug addiction there is, because there is no good times that come from cigarettes apart from de-stressing. But once again, if you never started smoking cigarettes, you probably wouldn't need them to de-stress, you know. But
fucking fame as well.
you're thinking for a smoke, you know, and same here. I'm nearly a week in, you know, tomorrow is 7 days and the last 24 hours has been the hardest part.
Yeah.
I've had the monkey on my back the most, you know, and, you know, before when you were having a ciggy, I was just like, fuck it, I'm going to come out and stand with you the whole time and just grin and bear it because I have to get through it, and every time I do it, it makes me stronger, you know. But it's, yeah, it's a hard one. And people, I think, as well, take it when you're quitting as preaching, you know, like, and you know.
Yeah, and I can tell you fucking now that you haven't preach shit, bro. You're like,
you can do whatever you want.
Just fucking smoke ciggies around, you smoke weed, drink, like fucking, you're not at all like, 100%. It's like, this is what I'm doing, bro. This is me. That's like sweet, brother.
That's it. I might have to keep talking about it to keep reaffirming to myself that, you know, I'm doing the right thing, and I'm training my brain to get out of fucking need a ciggy, fucking need a ciggy, fucking need a ciggy, and depending what environment I'm in, who I'm with, you know, I find it actually harder not to smoke around you because you and I have been mates for a long time, and fucking we've always got camaraderie, you know, like through fucking 15 years now, you know. So yeah, it's interesting, and I'm lucky that, and I'm grateful that I'm finding the strength to be around the people that I smoke with in the same way you've got your fucked up friends, you know what I mean? Like, that's, you know, smoking cigarettes is a bit of yours and my love language, because we like catch up and we sit out the back of Dunn's house and we have a ciggy and we talk about our problems and our
when
stresses.
we're in the state, we're out the back, we're on the, you know, fucking talking on the phone, having a dart out the back.
Which, you know, especially in the early stages of our friendship at the pub, it was a smoker spot.
Fucking
inside to watch the music, outside for a smoke. Inside to watch the music, outside for a smoke. You know. Yeah, and that's it. There's certain circumstances that are different between meth addiction and cigarette addiction.
Oh yeah.
It's just how much it affects you and how much society accepts it. Because once again, I think that alcohol addiction, and we all know this, is 1,000 times worse than marijuana addiction.
Oh yeah, fucking.
You know, we see alcohol destroying people around us on a regular basis. You know, even mates of ours from 12 years ago that isolate themselves and get drunk, and then they wig out at us all the time because they're drunk, and they send us all this weird abuse. And then we hit them up again like, it's all good, and they're like, oh sorry, I've done it again. And it's because they don't fucking get themselves to a better mental health state. They isolate and drink.
And it's holding on to things, man. It's like, and this is what happens when trauma, whatever, you know, that when you don't get over it, if you hold on to it, it can just become this encompassing, fucking powerful negative energy that just radiates from you. And fucking, if you don't deal with what's fucking in your head, then you're always going to be projecting that fucking
shit onto
like
people you claim to love once.
Like fuck times where I've gone, you know, absolutely projected that in, you know, being a volatile fucking person, going out and getting a fight as soon as someone looks at me and shit like that, you know, like.
Yeah, so me, man.
But but that all comes, you know, and you don't realise it, that all comes from somewhere, man. And it's not like you can even specifically pinpoint, okay, this is exactly from that. There's these things that happen that affect you that fucking, if you don't acknowledge them, then you're never going to fucking change, eh?
Yeah.
But then, as I said, it's a work in progress, man. There's still shit that I say in my songs and, you know, that I fuck up sometimes, bro. You know, I'm not a fucking perfect human, but I still try and look at all the fuck ups like, okay, how can I be better next time? Because I don't, you know, I want to try. I want to try and be better constantly.
Yeah, it's 2 steps forward, 1 step back, you know, and you can't be too hard on yourself when you fall, you know, relapsing in behaviour. Yeah. You know, and losing your temper. Yeah. In, you know, substance abuse and whatever that is that, you know, can be a negative impact on your life or the people around you. Yeah, you might have that step back, but it's okay. 2 steps forward again. And even when you move back a little bit, it's okay, focus on moving forward again. You know, every time you try and you try and try, you get better at trying, you know, and that's it. Like,
I think it comes from that disconnected stigma of, like back in the day before people knew about PIP as well, they were like, oh, you have it once and that's it, you're fucked for life, you know what I mean? You're basically dead. Like fucking, but you know, it's hard, man, but fuck, I said, people get off it, bro.
Yeah, 100%. Yeah, there's people I
And they
know
live
that
fucking, good fucking wholesome, valuable life with good experiences.
100%, man. I know some people that have lost everything on meth. Completely lost everything.
Most people, if they get that deep, have to lose everything to even think about coming back from it.
It's very true. And but I know some people that, have lost everything and they're building again. And unfortunately, there's some people in their life that they'll never get back. They will never forgive them.
Yeah.
But they're still building a new life for themselves and they're finding their peace. And step by step, they're moving forward. And for every mate of mine that has struggled with this, I'm proud of you for stepping forward. Just keep going, And even in those dark times when you feel like you can't get back what you've lost, you keep watering that garden with love and treating yourself with love. And give yourself grace. Don't beat yourself up. You have to remember, you got to treat yourself like a support worker.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? Like if you're looking after your little brother, you want your little brother to, hey, I don't want you getting on this shit, then you got to make sure that you're treating yourself with, hey, I don't want you to get on this shit, and give yourself that same love that you would. A big part of people that are very harsh to themselves will always say, just picture yourself as a kid. Would you treat them like that? And that helps people a lot. Yeah.
Hell yeah.
Mm.
How was that, Max? We're going to give him a shot of Max.
Yeah, we'll get Max. Get on Max. This is
Max. Do you want to show him your lobster? Where's your lobster? Have you got your lobster? Where's your lobster? Where's your lobster? Where's your lobster?
No, you camera shy, eh?
Beautiful Max.
This is the best doggo.
He's an absolute legend.
But yeah, much love, fam. Thank you for listening. Big ups.
Cheers for having me, brother.
Appreciate you. My brother. And I'm proud of you, bro. And for all you guys out there that are watching, doesn't matter where you're at in your journey. We just want the best for the world around us, for the times, in the same way that Rach said that to that young fella. We don't want you to go through what we had to go through. And we know some of you have already gone through worse. So if we can put this out there to help kind of like try and empower you, we do believe in you. We're learning to believe in ourselves more and more every day. And much love, fam.